brain project, behind the scenes, 12.4. So, I'm doing the speech, right, on selfishness. Selflessness, I apologize. Selflessness. And my main message about the speech is that selflessness doesn't exist. Upon doing research about this, it turns out I'm not the only one who's thought about this before. There is kind of two extremes. There is egoism, which is the very extreme version of what I'm saying, in which I'll write down right here. Selflessness doesn't exist. Just put no exist, because I take forever writing. Egoism is that there is no idea of selflessness, and that anything you ever do is purely of selfish, feel-good motivations. As in, you would never do anything else in your entire life if it didn't benefit you, right? That's egoism. And then there's altruism. Altruism, also called pure altruism, is essentially the idea that you can be a purely selfless person, right? The things that you do for others doesn't benefit you in any way. And when you think of like pure altruists, think of like Buddhist monks who give all of their like worldly possessions away, right? Who do nothing but like try to spread peace and like shave their head, like literally every action, anything that you could ever do is done. That's a pure altruist. So I knew like about egoists. I also thought they were called egotists, whatever. But egoists, and I kind of knew about altruists. But what I discovered upon is this kind of middle ground, which is the warm glow effect. Started by Thomas Hobbes, some philosopher in like the one second. The warm glow effect, which again started by Thomas Hobbes, some crazy, apparently controversial philosopher, 1800s, 1700s. It doesn't really matter, right? His idea is that there's a middle ground between egoism and altruism, aka impure altruism. One second. Impure altruism. And so impure altruism is the idea that while you still want to do things for others, right, you still have this pure altruist method, there is an underlying warm glow. You feel good, right? A glow kind of exists around you whenever you do it. So it's like, apparently, gosh, we're getting into a lot, because this idea is not like original, apparently. Socrates talked about it in like his old disgusting Latin books that like was like 1,000 pages for no reason, and then Plato talked about it, and then it started like a philosophical fucking war for some reason. Like there's this whole like left side, I'll explain, there's this whole like side over here of egoists of like, oh gosh, Nietzsche, Nietzsche. I talked about Hobbes, I think J.S. Mill, and like a whole bunch of these guys base their philosophy off the idea that selflessness doesn't exist, and that anything that we do is purely of selfish motivations. And they branch into their own ways, but like, you know, Nietzsche is like, you need to take control of the life you're given. Things like that. Hobbes wrote the Leviathan. Leviathan? I always feel like I say it wrong. Leviathan. Whatever. Basically saying that we need in our state of nature, how we needed to make like police, and we needed to make a controlled government because we were scared, and so we sacrificed freedom for safety. It's this whole thing. I don't know what the man was on, to be honest, but that's on one side. Then the other side is, when I say this gets fucking crazy, there's like Adam Smith, who, if you don't know, was like the fucking, was he the Quaker guy? I forget who he was. He's some founding father of philosophy in its own respect. There's Plato over here, and there's others, etc., etc. But a lot of people believe that altruism is its own thing and that it has to exist. So, this has been debated for like thousands of years, apparently, between different philosophers over several different like eras of philosophy. And within it, Thomas Hobbes has the warm glow effect. This guy named Andre, I have the paper right here, Andre, oh come on, don't back on me now. Please, no, what's his first name? Whatever, his last name is Andreoni. Andreoni in 1989 makes a book about what Hobbes is saying and then titles it The Warm Glow Effect. Because he was just calling it something else, but essentially he was just saying the warm glow effect. And the warm glow effect is used in like, we'll get it here. It's used in business, economics. It's used in horticulture, like what do you call that? I'll just say horticulture, whatever. Plants, right? It's used in philosophy, psychology, medical training. It's used like in everything, apparently. Everybody keeps coming to the same question of whether we do things because we feel good or whether we do things because we're actually nice people. And that's what I discovered by accident, you know? Well, just to be honest, arguing with a friend, I did some research on this and then found all this out. So, for the speech, I have some homework I'm going to give myself. I made myself kind of the top like websites that explains their like definitions and like various definitions of what the warm glow effect is, essentially. I have a good understanding, but I want to get really good at it. And also, you know, the psychological impact, the physiological impact, the evidence, the contradictions, like there's so much that has been discussed over the years that I had no idea that Nietzsche was part of this. Like, what? That's so random. How this affects like stock markets, business economics. I know very little about business economics. And then sometimes how it's like useful and it's beneficial within like marketing. Like people, you see like commercials. The very little I read was, for instance, commercials will play the same ads over and over again instead of constantly playing new ads, because there is a link to the warm glow effect that people will. It's like a. Apparently it's heuristic, meaning it goes into like the mere exposure effect. Basically, if you see something, then your brain doesn't have to think too much whenever you see that thing again. So it's easier to play the same commercials over and over again, then it gives you more of a warm glow. And then versus having to see a new commercial, your brain trying to make sense of it, and so like automatically it's harder for you to connect with it straight away than the same commercial over and over and over again. That's like part of it. There's so much. There's so much. But I'm gonna read up on it. I don't know how this will affect the speech, quite honestly, because the speech is like about it, like without even doing the research on this, the topic of selflessness as a whole, that selflessness doesn't exist, the four types of people that I put, the family, and the motivations that people do throughout it is all intertwined with philosophical debate that I have to I want to research and back up my findings with. And also point out the contradictions. Like, I'm not one to just be like, oh, this is right and this is wrong. No, I want to see all points of view, even though I still have my point of view. I just want to learn. So that's really it. I don't think. Captain Crunch, get over here. You're never around at the end of my videos. Come on. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, stop using it.
Still recording. Still recording. Look at little Captain Crunch. Alright, say goodbye. Stare right into the screen. That's so scary. Alright, you get a little snack. Alright? I know. Weird. He won't do. Oh, you're too focused on the. Yeah. Last time he was able to jump on my leg, or almost jumped on my leg. Not this time. Till next time.